Let's install MySQL on Windows 11. First, let's open the web browser. And now let's head over to dev.mysql.com/downloads. Here I'll choose MySQL Community Server. And what we want is the MySQL installer for Windows. So let's click here where it says go to download page. And as you can see, there are two options for the download. First, we have this option, which is a very small file. And this one will download MySQL during the installation. But personally, I prefer to go with the second option, the bigger file, because this way we first download everything, and then when we install, we only install. We don't need to download anything else during the installation. So let's click on download. And we can log into the MySQL community, but we don't have to. We can just click here where it says just start my download. And the MySQL installer is being downloaded. Okay, so the installer was downloaded. Let's run it. And here it is, MySQL installer community version 8. Let's run the file. And here we need to choose a setup type. Chances are that you're not going to use most of the tools that can be installed, at least not at the beginning. So I'm going to go with custom. And here we're going to choose two things. So first, under MySQL servers, I choose MySQL server, and we need to click on the arrow to add it to the list of the products to be installed. And the other thing that we're going to install is under applications, MySQL workbench, and here it is, MySQL workbench version 8. So let's add this one as well. So this is everything that we're going to install. Let's click on next. Now, as you can see, Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable is a requirement. So we can click on execute. And if it's not already installed on your machine, it can be installed now directly from here. So let's do that. And I don't have it installed on my computer yet, so it's being downloaded. And let's install the C++ redistributable. Okay, it was installed. Let's close this window. And we now have all of the requirements. Let's click on next. And here's the list of everything that's going to be installed. MySQL server and MySQL workbench. Let's execute. Great, so everything was installed. Let's move on. And we now need a bit of configuration for the MySQL server. I'm not going to change anything, so I'll just click on next. And you can choose if we only want to allow stronger passwords or if we also want to allow somewhat weaker passwords. I'm going to only allow stronger passwords. So let's click on next. And let's provide a password for the MySQL root user. But since using the root user is not ideal, we can use another user. So let's add user. Let's give it a username. For the host, I'll choose localhost. And let's provide a password for this user as well. So we're done with that. Let's click on next again. And we can configure MySQL Server as a Windows service, which is the recommended way to use MySQL Server. We can choose the name for this service, and we can also decide if we want this service to start at system startup. I leave everything as it is, and let's just click on next. And next once again. And we're finally done. Let's apply the configuration. And finish. And the configuration is done. Let's move on. And the installation is complete. Let's close the installer. Now to start MySQL Workbench, we can open the Windows Start menu and just look for Workbench. And here it is, MySQL Workbench version 8. Let's start it. And the local installation of MySQL was automatically identified. And if we open the Windows services, we can see the MySQL service right here. Here it is, MySQL 80. We see that it's running, which means that we should be able to connect to it. So let's get back to the workbench. But as you can see, by default it uses the root user. I want to use the other user I created. So let's create a new connection. Let's give it a name. I leave the host name as it is because this is the address of localhost. That's where our server is installed. I'll also leave the port as it is, but I will change the username to the user I created. And let's click on OK. And let's now connect to the server using this connection. And let's provide the password for this user. And we're now connected to the MySQL server. We can now create a new database. And if we now change to the Schemas tab, we can see our new database right